Hi everyone, this is Book of Catherine. I hope you're doing well. So I guess it's time to talk about Iran. I've been wanting to talk about Iran for a little while now, but every time I start to, something else happens. So now there have been two big speeches by President Trump. There have been happenings between the United States and Iran for quite some time now, though the media has not covered it very much. As Kellyanne Conway put it in a press conference 2 days ago, it's good that the press is finally learning Soleimani's name. They have not been reporting on these dealings for quite some years. So, very briefly, what I'll say is this. As I've been sharing on my Twitter feed, not on this YouTube channel, I'm not able to share on YouTube as much as I am on Twitter. If you've been following me on Twitter at Book of Catherine, you'll know that I've been talking about how on Iran has been aggressive for a long time, ever since President Trump has taken office and started pulling troops out of the Middle East region. Iran has been ramping up their attacks, not just in Iran and the Middle East. There are the harbors of terror there, and President Trump explained some of that today in his remarks. But they've been ramping it up on the shipping industry. So when you buy things from China or buy things made in Germany or buy things from products basically made anywhere in the world, it comes here by boat. It's shipped on a big tanker, and that tanker comes here by boat, and it's delivered into our docking ships. Now, those boats belong to Sweden, the UK, America, China, shipping companies from all over the world. And what's happening is Iran was attacking those ships. And America started to put together a freedom of shipping union and actual coming together of countries that would actually agree to protect each other in the seas, in the international waters, because Iran was boarding or attacking so many of these ships as they were going along. The press was refusing to reporting in this, and UK ships were even involved. They were really, really aggressive. Not just American ships were being attacked. And that's on top of the terrorism that Iran has been doing. And in my opinion, what it seems to me is that there always needs to be a war. This president has the least amount of war and least amount of troops deployed of any president ever in the last 70 years. In the last 70 years, we've had the UN, and that's when we stopped making militaries. The United States Air Force was the last military we ever had. And that's when the United States started losing wars, was when the United Nations was formed, and when our President Truman went ahead and cited that Constitution I shared with you that said, "We, the United Nations of the world," and they wrote a constitution that overrode our constitution. And so when they do things like Agenda 21 and they say it's non-binding, that's not true. They've already signed a constitution. It's an amendment to a constitution they've already instituted. We need to look into that and get out of the United Nations and actually retreat from that, because we, the people of the United States of America, did not resign our freedoms and give it up. If you noticed at that signing in 1945, it was a lord from England that was presiding over that. It was not an American. It was not a declaration of freedom, and it had no rights contained within it. So, anyway, there has been escalation, and as President Trump has been pulling out troops, that's not good business for the GOP or the DNC or the German industrial complex. That's bad business for them. They lose out a lot of money. This 1%, China loses out on a lot of money. Most of the manufacturing is done in China. The businesses that are Krupp Steel, that is based in Germany, Airbus, that's based in Germany, they make their products in China. And when they get orders for gear and guns, as you saw in War Dogs, all of it's made in China. All of that needs to have a war that's going on. And President Trump was pulling out of wars left and right, eliminating ISIS and things like that. And so Iran has really been escalating and trying to get us into a war. And it has been rather remarkable how the president has handled things in order to remove us from war and prevent more troops and prevent wars. Our United States Marines have done immense jobs. Their special task forces, their special forces have done incredible jobs in taking down terrorists. The president signed a new terrorism act and terrorism action this last October in 2019 that actually ended up tracking down now 3 heads of terrorist organizations. First, of Al Qaeda, then of ISIS, and now of Iran. And that is incredibly, incredibly impressive to me that he's done that in 6 months, just since October or September. Starting September 10th, he signed that, and it's been September, October, November, December. We are now beginning of January, and in that time, he's done the head of Al Qaeda, the head of ISIS, and now the head of Iran's terrorist networks. That's, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's more than 100 terrorist networks. That's millions of lives saved. And no one's going to say it, so I will. These people play judge and jury of other people's lives all the time. And what's really unfortunate is that the UK and France and Germany are literally siding and funding Iran at this moment. And as President Trump said in his statement today, he pretty much declared that they were funding the attack of the 12 missiles on Americans last night. Today is January 8th, 2020. So I would just like to clear up a statement that has been going around because this went our way. They've been saying, oh, Iran actually just did this as a show of force. They did the 12 missiles and it missed everything. And so they just did it for the world to show their people that they're strong, but they just called Trump and this was set up to make it look strong. I'm sorry, but that's a ridiculous statement. That means you don't know Islam. That means you don't know Iran. That shows you how very little, that shows you that the press does not know the name Soleimani. That shows you, that proves the point that Kellyanne Conway said yesterday, 2 days ago, when she said it's good that the press learns Soleimani's name. Had the press been reporting, if the press did not believe that Americans were infidels, if our Congress did not believe that Americans were infidels, if our United States press corps, if our White House press corps, if our Democrats and House Senate, GOP Senate, which has not confirmed our president's picks yet for cabinet, has not confirmed our president's picks yet. It's shameful that he's 3 years in, and our GOP Senate has not confirmed his picks yet, which means they also believe Americans are infidels. They are also siding with Iran, Germany, and the UK, and France, China, and Russia. They are so hostile to our president, to the people protecting the freedoms in this world, the people taking down terrorist networks. They're so hostile to anyone taking down a terrorist network that it is clear that they believe Americans and their freedoms, anyone who defends freedoms in this world, who believes in freedom of speech, freedom of religion, are infidels. That I wear this necklace, I must be an infidel. Because I wear jewelry and I wear color on my lips, I am an infidel. Right, U.S. Press Corps? Right, White House Press Corps? I hear stylists in Hollywood are telling the women they aren't allowed to wear makeup anymore. New climate change regulations banning makeup again. New excuses. Every 3 years, another new excuse you give to regulate the freedoms of women out and take away their choices. At the same time, going up there and saying you're promoting choice, you take more choices away from us. Over and over and over again under the banner of climate change. What a monarchy climate change is. You regulate our transportation. You regulate our uterus. You regulate our breasts. You regulate our weight. You regulate our hair. You regulate our breath. You regulate the air that we breathe. You regulate our towns, our roads. Right now, you control the road outside my house. You usurped it by going through and creating Google Maps, and you even put my house out in public without a public vote. That was your choice. You took away our freedoms and put our private property and our private information into public view without our choice. You keep taking away our freedoms. We have had maps for thousands of years without pictures of private property on it. But oh no, the monarchy was like, there is no such thing as private property, is there? not under the monarchy. Private property is a sin to the monarchy and sin to the Ayatollah. Under Iran, the Ayatollah owns everything, 200 billion. So that's what I have to say about Iran. I'll tape some more, but I support the President of the United States of America because he stands for freedom. Every action that he has taken, every single action that he has taken, every single executive order that he has signed has protected the rights and freedoms, has expanded the freedoms of people on this earth, not just in America, but across the world, from artificial intelligence and designs, all the way down from my ability to speak at a college. He had to sign a Freedom of Speech Act because the Democrats and GOP lawmakers across the 50 states are regulating out, and universities for Germany using climate change and their culture. If you look under climate change and sustainable development at climate change conferences, one of the things they debate at climate change conferences is sustainable culture. And they make safe words to regulate out at universities. You are an idiot if you go to a university in today's culture. I would stay the hell away from a university. A degree means that you are brainwashed. They sink you into a Nazi regime where they regulate all your ideas that you deserve any freedom whatsoever. And they feed you into an idea that princes and princesses are what we should dream of and be and have that money. That's all that matters, not freedom. Freedom is the most precious thing on earth. You should read what our founding fathers wrote. To have a piece of land and have a piece of dirt. Frickin' watch Gone with the Wind. She was so happy. She was dirt poor. She ate dirt and she was like, this is amazing. She was happy that she just had the land and she was dirt poor. She was like, at least I'm free and I have my land. And we have forgotten that. We think it is only worth it to be rich, even if we're a slave. Well, that doesn't last very long. I don't know how I got onto this. So Iran has been attacking us for a really, 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 really long time. And I'm sorry the media doesn't tell you about it. But they have been. They have been killing people all over the place. And yes, they attacked us. President Trump told us why it didn't work. The only reason it didn't work is because the anti-missile software we have an early warning system, and they evacuated. It's not because they set up a sign. They had an early warning system and they evacuated. We have good anti-missile software. Come on. This is Islam we're talking about. We're infidels. Learn the Quran. Peace out. Love you. For freedom.